yeah. Mhm.
Okay, good evening, everyone here. I'd like to call to order the December 13th, 2023 meeting of the Planning Zoning Commission of Lake Zurich. Call the roll if you would, please, Sarosh.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. Commissioner Castillo,
Here.
Commissioner Marks,
Here.
Commissioner Morrison,
Here.
and Chairman Stratman.
Here.
We are awaiting Commissioner Glowaz, but Commissioners Giannini, Muir, and Schultz have asked to be excused for this evening.
We'll let the record reflect we do have a quorum present this evening, so we can move forward with the business at hand. And the first item would be the approval of minutes from the PCC meeting, our last meeting of September 20th, 2023. Are there any comments, revisions to the minutes that's submitted to us? No. Okay, hearing none, I would then entertain a motion to approve the September 20th, 2023 PCC minutes as submitted to us.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll, please, Sarosh.
Commissioner Marks,
Aye.
Commissioner Castillo,
Abstain?
Commissioner Morrison,
Aye.
Chairman Stratman.
Aye.
And the minutes pass.
Okay. The next item on the agenda would be public meeting. There is no items on that for this evening, so we might have that go to the end for public comment if anyone comes in. But then we move to agenda item 4, which is the public hearing. And I would entertain a motion to open the public hearing for the following application. Application PZC 2023-19 for miscellaneous amendments to the zoning and land development codes.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Sarosh.
Commissioner Morrison,
Aye.
Commissioner Castillo,
Aye.
Commissioner Marks,
Aye.
Chairman Stratman.
Aye.
Yep.
So in that there is no one in our audience this evening, we won't be having to swear anyone in, and then that the presentation is going to be by
Staff,
Sarosh. We won't need to swear him in,
not
so
necessarily.
we'll just move forward then to the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you again. This evening, we have a few more housekeeping and miscellaneous amendments to present to you. Essentially, again, to allow our codes to be more effective with changing times, with changing aspirations, and also, from time to time, we look at cleaning up certain items of the code. So these are more administrative, but we do have to go through amendments of our zoning code with the official public hearing process to get these done. So the amendments, there are 6 amendments being presented to you this evening. The first one is amending the definition section of our zoning code to add a definition for office. The second one is a change to our sign code to add the definition and regulations for murals. Even though murals are going to be considered exempt signs, this section is to provide more the form of guidance to someone who wants to put up a mural on a building. It won't be regulated through a permit, but we try to kind of give them guidance to make sure that they are in keeping with our general purpose and intent of the sign code. The next one is to modify
Excuse me, point of order.
Yes.
Are we going to go through these as you talk about all 6, or are we going to have discussion as you go through one and then we go on to the next? Or do you want to wait to the end?
As you wish,
So,
if you want.
Chair, I'd like to make the proposal that we go as Sarosh reads one at a time, then have discussion and
Okay.
move on from there, as opposed to
Sure.
him reading all 6, then coming back and rereading 1
Correct.
through 6 again,
You can stay
I
fresh.
like
for the
idea.
sake of time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So did you have a question on the murals, or?
No, so far I have no comments at all on 1 or on the murals.
Okay, so on the murals, though, Sarosh, we know of the ruling from the courts some years back regarding signage. Do we run into the same issue then, once we look at murals? How do we apply to that because your comment was about community standards?
Yeah.
We have to recognize the fact that there is a thing about the freedom of what people are allowed to do.
Yes.
So how would we, under this ordinance, then be able to control that in terms of having something put up that wouldn't be, we termed objectionable?
That's a good question. Regardless of whether that the section on murals is in or not, we cannot regulate the content of a sign because that borders on the First Amendment right, freedom of expression. But we can limit the size, we can limit the text, we can limit the fact that in the case of murals, it's more artwork, it's not advertising, it's not a sign, it's not a message. We are limiting the text to a very small amount, almost like a directional type of sign. And we're also making sure that the person who does the mural understands that they need to get the permission, that this is not a right for someone to actually go in and be able to put up a mural because they were paid for it. We don't, we specify that they typically shouldn't be paid for. And so that's the kind of guidance we're looking at. We also require that murals not, I would say, portray products that are not being, I would say, sold or dealt with on the premises, so that they don't become what we call off-premise signs, because those border on the billboards issue, which we are trying to keep out of the village. So that's the guidance that we're providing
All right.
over here. But again, we cannot regulate the content.
All right.
Yes.
How do we address things that we don't want to see up as a mural, such as,
A sensitive issue.
correct, graffiti, anything where what could be construed as inappropriate language, things of this nature, which all of a sudden, even with freedom of speech, does impact the village, can.
I'll start with language. Language in the form of text is limited to 3% of the mural, so that technically should take care of that. Unless someone puts up one word, we can't regulate that content. It goes for the same again. I mean, if we didn't have this, someone could still
I
paint
understand.
that on their property and make it offensive to some, tasteful to others. What is a matter of taste at this point. So we cannot regulate that at all. But in the case of sensitive issues, the jury is still out on that, because what may be sensitive to one person may be an issue that they want to bring up for another person. And we have seen some communities actually kind of have these discussions, I guess. And then in some cases, those pieces of art, I guess, were left up, or in some cases asked to be removed because they were too sensitive.
So my question then is it not better to be more proactive now to put that kind of language in here, or just wait till it happens and then be reactive?
I guess we could say that murals have to be done with a certain sense of taste and propriety, more than anything else. And I will check with our, yeah, exactly. What is tasteful
Yeah.
for one?
Well, ultimately, since these murals would be on institutions of business.
Yes.
If people find them objectionable,
I think
the actionable thing for the community is to impact the business itself.
The
Like,
court of
if they
public
want
opinion.
change, exactly. So, I mean, it's not on the village
Right.
to engage in that enforcement. I feel like this is kind of kicked to the community to make
That's a
their
very
voice
good
heard.
point, too.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're trying our best to kind of provide somewhat of a framework within which these murals can be put in there. But after that, it depends on the owner and the person putting up the mural or the artwork. So the same goes with signs as well. I mean, if we have a sign that someone wants to put up advertising something, we really cannot regulate the content of their sign. There could be something very objectionable that they are advertising for their business, or the name of the business could be objectionable to someone. We cannot regulate that either. So the same would go for murals as well. So
Well,
yes.
the mural on Vault 232 has been very well received by the community.
Yes, because that was more of a community positive effort that they were trying to do. And in more cases than none that we have seen, these kinds of murals have actually had a positive effect on communities, because they try to portray either the character of the community, the character of the neighborhood in which they are, or just have a little more of the expression of an artist showing off or portraying their skill at artwork. So that's where we've seen murals typically go. We have very rarely seen in communities where there are very sensitive issues put up there, and those have brought out the people, brought out the discussion, and in the case that I was witness to, because it happened in my hometown, the mural was removed at the end of the day, based on persuasion of the artist. And the artist understood. He said, okay, the discussion happened, I'm happy to move on.
Okay.
So, any other questions regarding murals?
No.
Thanks.
Well, item 3?
Item 3, cannabis distancing requirements. There are two subsections of this. One is to require remove the requirement of distancing from group homes. This was initially put into the ordinance, but later we found that group homes typically comprise of adults who, at the end of the day, either use cannabis medically or legally. And so having a distancing requirement for that just did not seem practical. We surveyed a number of communities, and a large number of them do not have a separation or a distancing requirement from group homes. The purpose and intent of the separation was more from underage kids mostly, so areas that kids go to would be schools, daycare centers, and areas of recreation where kids go to. So that's where the distancing requirements would still be fixed.
So for that,
Sure.
when this came before us the last time, when we voted for cannabis to be coming into the village, I'm the one that pushed hard for the 500-foot segmentation. And I haven't been dissuaded. I don't care that I saw your list of all the suburbs. For me, it's still about location. And though currently we don't have a dispensary here, even though we approved it, I think 3 years ago.
2 years, yeah.
Well, going on 3, and nothing has happened and not moved. I am still of the position that I would like it at the 500 feet as opposed to the 250. I mean, 500 feet, you're looking at a football field and a little bit. At 100 yards, you're probably looking at about 120, 25 yards. So for me, it's more of the advantage that someone would take to move it. So I agree with the fact that it shouldn't be near a school. It should not be near I believe it's a hospital. But I also don't want it near a residence. I also don't want it near an adult facility, just because what it brings in, and that was a point of contention, if you recall, Orlando, that we had, because I don't think you guys were on the board at the time. We had a lot of point of discussion between putting it on in the industrial park, putting it on other areas. Originally, it was going to be nearer to Freddy's, I think is where one of the sites was talked about, and the residents behind there didn't want it. And I did. I made that issue, and that's where it came. That's why one of the reasons that I said, let's go forward if that can be met. So now all of a sudden I see that it wants to be changed, and the only reason that I can see that this is being brought forward is that somebody's saying, well, I'd like to do a dispensary and I want to move it into a different location. Otherwise, this has no reason to come up because nobody is really suffering right now because of the 500 foot.
Well, we're still sticking with the 500 feet. That hasn't
Yeah, we're not
changed.
changing
I
the
got it,
500.
but
yeah.
now, but it opens up a door that says, as long as it is not near a church or near a school, all other bets are off. That's what it's saying.
Actually, it's not even church. It's just school, daycare facility, and parks.
There you go. So now it says, oh, now we're saying as long as it's not there, we can now move it closer to residents or other places. And that was the big point that I had
Well,
when,
I thought the only change of the text was for the group home.
Group homes, not even for residences, Commissioner Castillo.
so what you're saying, what you're implying is that the 250 feet is strictly if it's a senior living or some adult. But the way I'm reading this, the way I read all of this, was that it says 500 feet, as long as it's not any school or daycare facility. That's what I'm reading.
Yes.
And unless you tell me differently,
No.
that's what I'm saying, Orlando. It says, as long as it's not those two, if
Yes.
it is those two, it's 500 feet. But if it's not those two, we can move it at 250 feet.
No, slight clarification there. The 250 feet is from a park. If you look at the actual code, just after It's a part of Exhibit A, Exhibit B. The regulations, the first one is, I'll just go through the regulations really quickly. The establishment just should follow business licensing regulations and taxation and fees provisions of Title III. The second one is proposing uses to only be distanced from the property line of any school or daycare facility at a distance of 500 feet. The next one says uses shall not be located within 250 feet of the property line of any park or property intended for recreational purposes. And those are the only sensitive uses that cannabis dispensaries or organizations are to be distanced from, apart from distance from themselves at 1,500 feet, because the state wanted them to be separated out. It doesn't call out churches, it doesn't call out residences, it doesn't call out any of the other types of uses as sensitive uses to cannabis dispensaries. The only uses that cannabis dispensaries were, 3 years ago when we passed the ordinance, were supposed to be distanced from were schools, daycare centers, parks, and recreation facilities where kids.
The only text change that this is making is reference to group homes
Group
only.
homes.
No other distance changes?
Yeah.
Or locations are being affected by the
Yeah.
text amendment that's being proposed. The only change is we're eliminating the requirement of distance from a group home.
And a group home can be comprised of a nursing home, a memory care center, certain types of managed senior living and rehab centers that cater only to adults.
And they can be within 250 feet of those.
They can be right next door to them if we follow this, if we recommend this. Okay. Currently, as the ordinance stands without amendment, they have to be within, outside of 500 feet. The 250 feet is only for parks and recreational facilities, the distancing,
Now, this text change only related to group homes.
group homes. Okay? Not to educational facilities, not to parks, not to daycares.
I got it. But along with that, let's just move on.
The second clarification was to actually define how this distance would be measured. Initially, it was from zoning lot line to zoning lot line, till we realized later that some zoning lots are very large when they comprise a shopping center, where the cannabis dispensary could be at one end of the shopping center, but its distancing measurement starts at the other end of the shopping center. So we are clarifying that to say that the distance shall be measured from the exterior structural wall of each cannabis establishment to the nearest lot line of a sensitive use. That makes more sense, so that you now have a more practical, reasonable distancing measurement mechanism to measure that 500 feet or 250 feet that you have to measure. That was all that the second clarification is
Okay.
about. Any questions on that?
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Any other questions on the cannabis group home proposal to remove that land use? Okay. The third one is, the fourth amendment is to clarify public warehousing and storage uses within the industrial district. Currently, we call out general warehousing and don't include certain types of warehousing, where you have warehousing related to farm products, which we would like to exclude because those are not in keeping with the industrial character that we're trying to maintain. The zoning code is silent on that. And then it also doesn't call for or allow for refrigerated warehousing. So we're specifying that and putting that in to the zoning code. So general warehousing and refrigerated warehousing will be classified as permitted uses, whereas under the same standard industrial classification, mini warehousing and self-storage will be classified as special uses. So those are your self-storage facilities. Those will still have to go through the process of community input through the public hearing process. So that's the only change I was making to the warehousing section of the industrial code.
And the refrigerated is a big item.
A big
because
item
that
now.
is a growth, for reasons I don't understand, and I've done a little bit of research into it, I don't understand why all of a sudden now the refrigerated storage has become such a
A big
huge
deal.
growth. and yet it is. They're looking to build these mammoth facilities.
We had Peapod, we now have Factor. Both of them very heavily use refrigerated warehousing. We have North Star Pickle, where their entire facility is almost a refrigerated facility. So that is something that we want to clarify and provide for as a permitted use. So someone can come in by right and simply request an occupancy and whatever other build-out permits that they need to get themselves established. And that wasn't in the code specifically, so we're adding that.
All right, good.
I guess this is a case of keeping up with the times. So,
Can I ask, how did that come up?
the pandemic was a big cause for it when people started ordering meal kits and pre-prepared foods, and there was also this somewhat underground movement of ghost kitchens, where they'd have a large building, an industrial building, preparing food and selling it under the name and license of a franchise, where you thought you were getting food from this ABC franchise, rather it was coming from a warehouse preparing it under their license. And that same warehouse would probably cover like 4 or 5 different franchises. And in order to fulfill those orders, they needed large warehouse spaces for their food, because everything is perishable in that industry, so they do need that.
And as you mentioned, the pandemic, and part of that was because the vaccine itself
Needed,
to be
needed
refrigerated.
warehousing as well, so. Number 5 is purely a housekeeping item to, again, clarify and add a definition and regulation for service walks in residential yards. So far, we don't have that, and we've kind of equated them to sidewalks, and then we have to sit and explain that they're similar to sidewalks. We just put a definition in there saying a service walk is a walkway on the private portion of the property that is not really a sidewalk on the public portion of the property, and I've provided some setback requirements and how it can encroach into the side yard, et cetera. So there are certain, just as a matter of background, there are certain features on a residential property that can encroach into setbacks. Driveways, patios to a certain extent, swimming pools to a certain extent, and they're all called out very specifically in what we call the exceptions to the bulk regulations of our residential code. And so we're putting in service walks as well to properly define and clarify how service walks can be constructed on any residential property. And then the last one is simply cleanup and clarification of business district land use list. We had a couple of duplicates that we removed. And then we've been seeing requests for yoga instruction, so we figured we'll use this opportunity and add yoga instruction. It is not a highly impactful use, and it was covered under physical fitness up until now, but we figured let's actually just clarify it and put it into the code, so we're putting it in there. It seems to be picking up, and we do get from time to time people wanting very specifically yoga instruction type classes, and it's called out in the SIC code. So we figured SIC Standard Industrial Classification, which is what we use as our guide to list out and classify all our various land uses. So we decided we'd use that and add it to the business district list, so.
But if it wanted to come into the industrial park, it would need a
It
special
would need a,
use.
yes, it would need, because the industrial park does not allow it like the business districts do.
Alright.
And it would have to come in through a special use permit under the same broad-based classification of physical fitness facilities.
Okay.
So, those are the extent of the amendments that we are proposing at this time. If you have any further questions or would like to discuss some more, I'm happy to.
All right. Scott, we'll start with you. Any question on the 6 items?
No, I mean, I already asked the question I really had.
Actual discussion, Jake?
No, I am good.
Antonio?
I'm still not comfortable with the cannabis one. I'm just not.
I could maybe even suggest, very similarly to the way the board handles consent items, if there is one amendment you'd like to pull out and vote on it separately, you can do that as well. So if you want to offer that up.
All right,
to the
we can do
commission.
that. Would it be agreeable?
Yes, because if you put them in as a lump bulk, I'm saying nay.
Yeah, correct.
If
So that's fine.
if you pull out cannabis, I can say nay to that and yea
Yes
to
to
the
the
others.
others. Very good.
Again, because I'm not satisfied with the explanation of the 500 feet to other than. That's the thing is other than. So for me, maybe you can clarify it for me. So if somebody comes in and says, okay, we don't want to have it at the TGI Fridays, I want to move somewhere else, can they build, given this change in the tax that we're doing, can they put it next to residential and do it within 250 feet?
Actually, they can put it right next to residential, even without the change.
Yeah, that's regardless of the
Regardless,
change there.
residential is not a sensitive use in our ordinance. Only group homes such as memory care
So
centers.
we kept out,
Residential completely. as a
no, we
se-
went the other way. We kept out schools
The other way. Daycare centers, we kept out schools, we kept out daycare centers,
and
and
parks.
parks, and recreational facilities where kids go.
That's what we kept it at 500,
Parks is 250.
Parks is 250,
250.
yes.
And now we're saying that we're going to add in, well, sort of, 250 to adult, senior type.
No,
No.
we're gonna just remove it
Completely
completely.
exempt.
So
Remove
a
group
cannabis
homes.
place can go right next door.
Right next to it.
Yes, yes, that's what we're saying.
Got it. I'd keep it separate.
Okay,
Okay.
not a problem.
No problem.
All right. So if you want to make a,
For me anyways.
first we'll have to close the hearing
Yeah.
and go through all of the
Yeah.
motions. Yep.
Okay. Then I consider a motion to close the public hearing on application PZC 2023-19 and move to deliberation.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Call the roll, please, Sarosh.
Commissioner Morrison,
Aye.
Commissioner Castillo,
Aye.
Commissioner Marks,
Aye.
and Chairman Stratman.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, so we've had our discussion. So I think after hearing the discussion, then what we will do is break up the text changes of the 6 items, and we will make the motion to, on application PZC 2023-19, I entertain a motion to receive into public record the staff review of compliance of this application with the zoning standards presented by staff, and to receive the testimony presented by the applicants, by the PCC members and village staff at tonight's public hearing, and make these standards testimony a part of the official record for the application and the findings of the PCC for items 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Sarosh.
Commissioner Marks,
Aye.
Commissioner Castillo,
Aye.
Commissioner Morrison,
Aye.
Chairman Stratman.
Aye. And then I would entertain a motion to receive in a public record the staff review of compliance of this application with the zoning standards as presented by staff, and receive testimony presented by the applicant, by the PZC members and village staff at tonight's public hearing, and make these standards testimony a part of the official record for the application and findings of the PZC of item 3 of the text amendment changes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, call the roll, please, Sarosh.
Commissioner Castillo?
Aye. Right?
No, we're voting on cannabis.
Oh, we're voting on
We're
it.
voting on
Oh,
it.
sorry, nay. I thought we were doing, okay, but it's separate. Got it. Nay.
Yes, we separated out in the motion. but
Got
now
it.
we're voting on it. Commissioner Morrison,
Aye.
Commissioner Marks,
Aye.
and Chairman Stratman.
Aye.
So the motion passes 3-1.
3-1. Okay. So then moving forward to other business, if there's none, there's their staff report, Sarosh?
Yes, a couple of items. First of all, for the next meeting, we have one item that's been submitted. It's for a new massage therapy salon at 900 Winnetka.
Another one.
They seem to be very popular. And we allow for them, but through the public hearing process. In this particular case, the public hearing process will not be for the land use. It'll be for the design and layout and some zoning relief of setbacks at this particular property.
Can you reveal where it would be?
900 Winnetka, right on the corner of Winnetka and Rand Road. And so Rand Road has this extraordinary 50-foot setback, which goes right across halfway through the property, which would render that whole front half of the property unbuildable.
Got it.
So they would be requesting relief on that particular item, together with maybe some coverage and some setback relief on the south side of the property as well. So with regards to that, we recommended they go through the PUD process. And in return, they're actually going to take out the old Lake Zurich Animal Hospital building that used to be there for years and years and put in this new commercial building that they want to hold their, or operate their business from. So that'll be before you on the 17th of January, which is the third Wednesday in January. I also wanted to talk a little bit about some of the more significant projects that are kind of in the pipeline coming up. We've had a lot of discussion this year, but have not yet seen the applications. The applicants have told us that they're putting everything together and bringing them forward. There are 4 projects of this nature. The first one is OSK Townhomes. Some of you will remember that earlier in 2023, actually late in 2022, there was the project for 52 townhomes on the
Old
property-
Rand and Bushing.
Old Rand and Bushing property.
Oh, right by Kitts.
Yes, right, just south of it. That received a recommendation from the commission, but was denied by the village board in January of 2023. I've had numerous discussions with the developer. Our staff has had discussions with the development company. They've changed architects. I've had discussions with the new architects, and the new architects are putting together a proposal that is going to be different from what was originally proposed. We just haven't seen anything yet, but they've indicated to me that at the early part of next year, they would be submitting an application to propose the development of that property with this completely revised proposal. So once that happens, we would likely bring it before you again for a public hearing and a recommendation to the village board.
Did you say it was 52 units?
It was at that time. I don't know how many.
No, it was
they
too
were-
big then.
It was,
We
yes,
were just-
yes.
yeah,
It was
okay,
52 townhouses
Yeah,
within 13 buildings, I believe.
yeah. Okay, and what happened then, just out of curiosity, since that was something that came before us, was that, then the gentleman that was gonna build the 2 homes
To the south of it?
just south of that,
Yes.
before you get to that big, that Cradio home that's over
Yes.
there. So where is that?
They have not commenced construction because they were in the hope that this townhouse development would be completed and bring water and sanitary to the site.
Oh, they wanted to.
And they would then work out a deal
To hook
to
up.
tap and to hook up to that,
You're going piggyback.
piggyback onto it. And that would be a private deal between the 2 property owners, unless they wanted us to set up a recapture. But it's such a small development, it's 2 lots. So the status of that is their plat has just been recorded at this point. We haven't seen any permits coming through.
So they're just waiting to
They're
see.
just waiting,
Got
yeah,
it. Got it. Thank
exactly.
you.
That's a good point, though. Good observation.
Because they seem to be together.
Yeah.
Right. The next one that I wanted to kind of give an update is on the Cummings property development. This is on the 18 acres on the southwest corner of Quentin and 22. From 2016, going back all the way to 2016, we've seen numerous proposals all the way to 2021, when we had a development that actually went to the village board and got approved, but the developer walked away because he was expecting financial incentives from the village, and we don't offer financial incentives for new greenfield construction. And so that PUD has lapsed. In the meantime, Mr. Victor Cummings passed away earlier this year, and his daughter, who was running the affairs of this aspect of their family, has indicated to us that she is now open again to speaking with potential developers who want to develop the property. So we've been sending them names, but we haven't seen anyone come through with a formal proposal. We anticipate that in 2024 we will see one. Again, it will also depend on the housing market, the interest rates, and all of those other factors that determine whether a developer wants to move forward or not. But barring any of that, we might see a proposal come through.
Is there any thought, I mean, everything that's come before us, again, I don't think you guys were on the board then.
No.
Everything that came before us was always the same, gas station, townhomes. So hopefully it could be a little different. I mean, you know, the big pushback we all got, even when we pushed it up to the trustees, was the gas station. So hopefully it's something that doesn't have that attached to it, because as you saw, Hawthorne Woods, Kildare, everybody came and was here for that. So hopefully it's something that's,
And Hawthorne Woods took one of the good
Good
parts. They
projects.
took the bank.
The bank. The
Yep.
bank that you see developed on the corner was supposed to be on this development. The bank could not wait. and they needed to establish sooner than later.
And look at the size
saw
of
the
that thing.
opportunities, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Did you say it was the southeast corner?
the southwest corner.
The
corner, okay, that's what I
southwest,
thought.
so it's where the farm, the big silo is.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
it's
that
right across from
property.
Mariano's to the
Mariano's, right.
south, yeah.
Though I will say in all fairness, you know, if I was going to put the bank where it's at, where it's going up, and I bought one of those houses at $700,000, and basically all I have to do is literally knock on my neighbor's window to say, could you gotta give me a cup of sugar? I'm not sure I'd be buying in there anyways.
Yeah.
It's a different concept. It's a very high, what
Totally.
they call an urban concept.
And they have alleys for those homes.
Yes, they do, yeah. They
They
have
actually-
porches in
they
front,
went with
car
the city, yeah.
car courts, as they call it, leading to garages in the back, yeah.
One thing you guys weren't part of is, one of the things that was go in there on the corner of Cummings property was gonna be a Rockets, Ricky Rockets.
gas
Ricky
station.
Rockets.
Have you seen a Ricky
And-
Rockets?
Yeah, there's one,
Buffalo Grove.
yeah,
There's one in Barrington as well.
drive
yeah.
by it every time with my
It
daughter.
has
She's
a
like,
little figure of Ricky Rocket on his rocket,
yeah,
or
it stands
Ricky
out.
on his rocket.
The developer has since been noted in the newspaper on some of his other projects that he was going to be involved in, that he got, because he was into the gambling.
Yes, he was,
That was a big
operations-
component.
This was slot machines, and he got into some other stuff, so his name has been, he was involved, in something with Tinley Park, and that fell apart when they found out who his partners were. We kept trying to find out who his partners were, and he said he didn't have partners. They found out he had partners.
It's silent variety.
Yeah.
The third one I wanted to talk about is the northwest corner of Miller Road and Rand Road. That is outside of our municipal boundaries right now. A group of investors have picked up the 5 properties on that corner and demolished the homes on there. So that property has kind of like been leveled and just kind of
Oh,
like prepared.
they have a fence around it.
They have a
Yeah.
fence
I just
around
passed it
Okay.
today.
Yeah.
Blue trim all the way around, yeah, I
Yeah.
saw it.
And so they've approached the village for potential annexation and development. So we've had one discussion with them. We were now waiting to see what their formal proposal would be. So that'll be something that'll most likely come to you for zoning, for plan developments, for exterior appearance, the whole package, so to
Any,
speak.
any bellwether on what the character of the development would be? Is that
Not
housing?
uses, they've talked about a little bit of a mix of uses, but haven't really confirmed exactly what they are going to do. They were kind of throwing ideas around to see what would probably be feasible for those properties.
So that's unincorporated right now.
That is unincorporated Lake County. And if they develop, the county typically says you need to go to the nearest municipality. And to them, the value goes to, the value is to go to a municipality that can offer water and sanitary services, utility services. And that's the village of Lake Zurich. So they
I
would,
guess I never realized, that means that the gas station at Shell is actually Lake Zurich property?
no, it is outside.
So you would have Lake Zurich, an unincorporated, and then back into Lake Zurich?
We.
It's not continuous then?
Yeah, but from the east side to the north, the Walgreens is what
It is.
gives them contiguity, yes.
No, but- right, coming this way, I
Right.
got that part, but it's just, when you think about it, you come in and all of a sudden that gas, so is what are they, apartment buildings that are right next to just before you get to Coles?
No, those are the senior homes.
Senior.
The
Senior homes, is that also,
That's already Lake Zurich,
that's also,
yes.
okay, so
And
it's
the
just a
gas
gas
station.
station?
Yeah.
Because that's directly adjacent to the gas station.
Yes.
Yes.
And the
Yeah,
gas
they
station
have
on
that
the
little
southwest corner.
stream that separates them.
Right.
So there may be potential to reach out to the gas station to see if they are interested in being annexed,
Being
because
annexed.
that way you can control the location, design, and operation of what goes on out there.
It
too.
makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, yeah, so we'll be in discussion of those as well. And then the last one is one that you've heard a lot of hype about, which is Consume at Block A. They had a concept that they put together. The concept was kind of like distributed to the community, and the community is very excited about them. And we are reaching out to them right now to find out what their timing for submittal is. But in all probability, we might see a project in 2024 come through
For
again to
Consume.
you. For Consume
So they
at
moved
Block A.
from where they're at up.
Yes, they will move to the Main Street area.
And that's a multi-use,
Cool.
or that's a multi,
Use,
tenant,
yeah,
yeah,
multi-tenant
multi-tenant
building, yeah.
Oh,
Consume is
that
the-
brings something nice into
what
that
they're-
area.
What their architect did, if you saw the preliminaries, was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Terraces, outside terraces on 3 sides, but the terrace level floor level is down from the floor level of the dining room inside, so that the people inside the restaurant have unobstructed view of the lake,
Oh, nice.
because the
Nice,
people
nice.
sitting out there are gonna be lower.
You know,
That, again, I think that's, those are the things that our downtown needs to
yes.
really get people in there. Nice.
Yeah, so everyone was excited about that, so now it's just a
Yeah.
matter of bringing it to fruition through the process and construction.
Cool.
So those were the four items or other projects of significance that have the potential to come to us in 2024.
Cool.
Also wanted to give you a quick update on our comp plan. On October 25th, we had the first community workshop. I know you were there. I saw you. It was a success. We had over 60 people attend and provide their input and kind of just get engaged about what the future of Lake Zurich would be. And then on this past Tuesday, December 5th, our consultants met with students at U46 in the high school and had a great discussion and session with them, and the students provided them with great input as well. So we'll be publishing that report actually by this Friday. The report just came out today, and I'm reading it. But
Let the record reflect, they met with District 95.
District 95's high school,
U46.
Right.
I'm sorry, I say U46 all the
I
time.
said, I was,
You should correct me because I live in
He's in
U46,
Elgin,
sorry.
he's in U46.
I live in U46.
I knew what he did.
Thank you.
I thought it was a new
No, no,
group
no.
that we now
That's
have
where my
formed in
kids
the
go.
village.
Thank you for the correction. D95, District
Outside of Lake
95.
Zurich,
Yes, exactly.
We're asking Elgin's opinion now. Elgin's students.
Sorry about that, my apologies, but thank you
Just
for
having
catching
fun,
it.
just having fun.
I don't want someone listening to this online saying, what is he talking about? But they met with D95 students, thanks to Dr. Dean Romano and Dr. Walsh, the principal of the high school. They put together a great session. It was really well attended. There was great input from the students, and now the school has also agreed to continue to promote the poll that is online at our website through the school's newsletter. So that's gone out as well, and they may get a lot more input from the families of the students that may not have been present at this session. So great input. It was a great session, and something I think that the consultant kind of really zeroed in on really well to get this input.
Good.
So just a couple of things. So that's all I have on the staff reports.
So as long as we're on
Yeah.
School District 95.
Yes.
When are they looking to get occupancy permit for the facility right next to Kitts, the bank that is?
400
Because
South
it really looks
It looks
great.
great. Yes.
Oh, it looks fabulous.
They're getting closer and closer. I think they're on the interior right now, finishing off. The exterior is more or less done. So I would anticipate, I think they said March of
March,
next year.
It's a good thing they had great weather right now, because they
Right.
they
Yes,
just,
they just
it looks
went all out.
great.
They've
Well,
really made an
their big
improvement.
hangup was needing the elevator, which was the addition on the south end of the building. That was for the elevator itself.
Oh, got it.
And so the construction of it wasn't the problem, getting the
The material.
equipment was the problem, and
I
that
see.
delayed them. And they couldn't do anything until they got the equipment, so that was a significant delay.
And some of you may also know, speaking of the school district, that they have struck a deal with Fidelity to purchase the building that they currently rent for their admin offices just south of the Walmart.
Oh, yeah.
That deal is going to close very soon.
They were going to buy that.
They're going to buy that, yes.
I
Currently,
should say we are going to buy it.
we, yes, the district. And so that'll become their admin offices, owned and operated now by the district.
Because they've been doing that. That's been in operation for at least 10 years, I think. Maybe 8?
Maybe a few, 8 years.
8
yes,
years,
that's
somewhere in that ballpark, yeah.
Yes.
The old
exactly.
Sears.
Old Sears.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
the
old
old
Sears,
Sears, yeah.
exactly. Any other points, questions, other developments?
No, I do appreciate the update, thank you.
You're welcome.
Speaking of though, we talked about it, cannabis.
Yeah.
What is the schedule for,
Or is it?
There is. Actually, just as a matter of 2 weeks ago. So as we came upon November, we reminded them that their original special use permit was about to be expired if they didn't get into being established, actually, not just construction. And so they requested an extension. The village manager granted them an extension, but under certain conditions that they meet certain thresholds of time. Get a permit in by December 1st, get permits approved by February 1st, and be in operation by July 1st. There was also a certain surety guarantee, a monetary guarantee that they had to place on the project, which we've just received. So we're in the process now of reviewing their permit application. which is imminent to be approved, and we may see interior construction start pretty soon, because the winter months will not allow for too much exterior work. But once it gets a little warmer, they can continue with painting of the exterior and modifying the exterior to make it look like whatever their design is supposed to be.
And that is at the TGIF.
At the TGIF,
TGIF,
correct,
yeah.
yes.
Was this an issue of financial, which I had heard on one issue? In my opinion, I didn't think it was an issue of the state of Illinois and the license.
No, it was not.
So it was the financial
It was all
thing.
financial,
Got
yeah.
it,
The
got it.
liquidity of their finances and bringing together investors when they finally got all of that together. Earlier on, it was also an issue of getting their contractors together, but finally, we figured out it was more of their finances. But now they are ready to go. And
Good.
so we've kind of let them know that if they meet all these thresholds, they could go right ahead and establish at that location.
Cool.
So July 1st is the deadline.
For being operational.
For being operational, yes.
That's what the village kind of needs to know that for their projections, because there's going to be significant revenue coming from their operations.
Yes, correct. There will be a significant amount of sales tax revenue that comes to the village from this.
As long as that wasn't part of the previous budgets that we had been
No, they were
anticipating and it's
no,
not
they were
coming
over and
in.
above, yeah.
We're pushing it further,
We had
out.
not bought things or paid for things.
No,
in
I get it.
anticipation of
But sometimes
this.
we get excited, you know?
Yes.
We-
The
oh,
little
Yeah.
drive is gonna be.
Yeah, everything is
Oh, yeah, it's
performance
already
based.
involved.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's all performance based, so, yeah.
Remind me, Sarosh, Chase Bank, that entrance that is now, they've got the barriers there, that's gonna be closed up, that's not gonna be an entryway, or is it gonna be an entryway?
It is going to be an entryway. The reason it's closed up right now is they haven't received their permit from IDOT to
Oh,
finish
from
it.
IDOT, got it.
It's an IDOT-controlled roadway on both sides. They didn't have to do anything on the Rand Road side, but on the Route 22 side, they were modifying it to a right-in only, not a right-in, right-out as it currently was.
See, because I had remembered that it was supposed to be used, but then when I saw the barriers, I went, okay, what changed?
We
'Cause-
made them put up barriers because their grade, finished grade, is different from the road grade.
No, I get
It will
it.
be changed once the construction happens, so.
It just opens up questions that,
Yes.
with
No.
us, that's what they
It's
come
not gonna be
to.
closed, it's gonna be finished once they get their permits. There will also be a sidewalk on their side of Rand Road as well, so.
Oh, good.
Yes,
That's
that's one of the
nice.
requirements that we made, so they're waiting on that IDOT permit as well, so.
And I see that next to FedEx is Wings Depot, is that what it's
Yes,
called?
Wingstop.
Wingstop, Wingstop.
Wingstop is going in over there. I had put it, notified the village board about that just a couple of weeks ago. So we'll have a Wingstop over there coming up, we would say in the next few months. They haven't given
Yeah,
us
yeah.
opening date, but that's a nice business to have in town.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, so,
I like that.
It's a
Cool.
nice option.
yep.
And we had, when we were speaking of Chase Bank, when Chipotle wanted to go in, one of the things we stipulated was to make the village more walkable. We specified as a condition of our recommendation that they put in the sidewalk. When they met before the village board, they didn't like that condition.
Well, no, nobody does.
In fact, it was news to them that we even made it. Sarosh corrected the record to let them know that in fact we did make that as a condition. So they had a 2-week continuance.
A 2-week continuance by the village board to go back to the drawing board and include the sidewalk and reconsider even the location of the trash enclosure
I like that.
to the central portion of the site rather than right at the southern border.
I was worried about
I think you had brought it up.
distance from
Yeah.
that traffic,
Right.
less than,
So they came back saying that they would do that, and they got their approval, so now we have.
I'm still ticked off at them. Because they closed the one by my house.
Did they close it?
Oh, yeah, it's closed, it's done, they gutted it out. And now, if I wanna deposit or go in, I gotta go all the way to the other side of town.
Oh, you're talking about Chase, okay. right,
Chase.
yeah.
Yeah, they gutted it all out, took out the ATMs, everything is, they went in there and painted and did all sorts of things. I'm guessing that another bank will go in there. I mean, it's made for that.
Yeah, it's not really
It's got a drive-through and
they could
everything.
suit that other.
Unless you follow some of the restaurants that have purchased banks and become
right?
restaurants.
Yeah.
Speaking of restaurants, we see that the new one is making great progress.
North
Lago,
Location.
yes.
Oh,
At
Lago.
Sanctuary, yes. That's
Yes,
making great
but
progress. Mhm.
I don't recall, and I've been seeing the building now, and I don't recall the window on the
Fast food window.
east side of the building, what would look to be a drive-through.
It is a drive-through. It was always on the plan.
Was it?
Yes, yes. They had requested it right from the start. This project was started in 2021 when we were coming out of the pandemic, and every restaurant needed a pickup window, a drive-through pickup window. So this is not where you have a menu board and order. It's where you pre-order using your phone or your computer and then just go at a designated time to pick up the food. We don't know to what extent that'll still be used, but they're putting it in
I
because,
saw that one and I thought, I don't remember that in the presentation.
yes, it was there.
It was there, okay.
Yeah, so that's there. They're making great progress. They are scheduling a potential February opening. And they've got a banner saying, call in if you want to get a reservation already, so.
Cool.
Apparently, a lot of people are calling in, so, yeah.
Now you mentioned our point, that's not one of ours, though, that's Forest Lake.
Oh, okay.
But it is open and is a great restaurant.
Which one?
It's on Forest Lake, North Point Marina.
No point, okay, I'm not familiar with
That's
it.
outside Lake Zurich.
Just opened up in October under new ownership.
Yeah, doing well, okay.
Doing well.
I mean, people are going back to restaurants is what we are finding out. People are not that much now into pickup and all of that too. So it's mostly the quick service and the fast food, obviously, that will always have pickup and drive-throughs.
Yeah, I think though, their concept is getting hotter and hotter where you call up and go
Yes.
pick up. It's all online. Luke's
Bella
has
Luke's.
moved to Dundee.
Oh.
You know, Luke's used to be on Rand Road.
Right.
They shut it down. Now they're on Dundee.
Mhm.
It's all online and go pick up.
That's
No eat-
Chipotle's model too.
No eat inside anymore. So
That
this
was
is
the
the new
one that
model.
is where the Toyota is now, right?
It used to be where the White Castle used to be. I think it's Luke's. Oh, which one?
I'm thinking in Palatine, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, yes, so Luke's, that's in Palatine on Dundee, they went into what I believe was the old White
White
Castle
Okay.
building.
I gotcha.
And now, because they used to be next door or pretty adjacent to the tire place on Rand Road, across where they built the new car dealerships.
Right, right,
So
right.
they closed that and moved over to Dundee, and
They built that building, if I recall
Oh, my-
correctly, because they were on the corner where
were where
the
Toyota-
Toyota is now.
he
Yeah,
made a fortune on that.
Yeah, I bet
They
he
built
did.
that big building, we would be there, and there were never more than,
Yeah.
there were more servers and workers than there were customers.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't need the space, because he was doing the drive-through business then.
So I see that concept doing more and more,
Yep.
where it's all online, you order from your phone and go pick it up.
That's Chipotle's model too. They call it the Chipotlane.
Okay. And she was insistent, there won't be a menu board, she kept trying to tell me
Yes,
that.
there won't be, and we won't allow one because it's not part of the
Remember when
PUD
you
plan. Yeah, yeah. I've actually used the Chipotlane. It's actually not too bad because when you order on your phone or online, it gives you a specified time to be there. And so they space everything out in these 15-minute intervals so that there's no backup of traffic in the lanes. And that's how they're doing it. And so, yeah, let's see how it works over here. Anything else?
Are we in line to get a Cosmic?
Cosmic? No,
Oh,
I
the
don't
McDonald's,
know.
the new
I've seen
new
the
McDonald's?
designs. They haven't talked to us, and
Did you see that line of cars?
Yeah,
To go through to that?
ridiculous.
yeah.
Oh,
It
did you
was
see
like
that
through that
person who
whole
came
mall.
all the way in from England just to go there?
To a Cosmic?
I didn't see
Wow.
that.
Oh, they interviewed her and everything. She came
Really?
all the way from England. She's a McDonald's freak. Came all the way over, had her car with 3 other people in it, just to be one of the first people
Yeah,
to
it's a
go.
very
there.
interesting
Waited 5
concept. I haven't
hours.
tried it yet, but very interesting.
Bolingbrook.
Yeah.
Bolingbrook, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Bolingbrook.
Bolingbrook, okay. But a few more to open in the Chicagoland
Oh, I'm
area.
I
sure.
thought it was
Yes.
drinks only, but then when they ran the news story, they do have a couple sandwiches.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they do have, like, I think they said they have, like, some of the staples, like, some of the, like, 2 or 3 breakfast sandwiches that are on
Oh,
the normal
okay.
menu.
Yeah, they're just those smaller ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see it, because I haven't
it's not
tried it
full
yet
kitchen.
myself, yeah. So,
Yeah.
all right.
All
Any
right,
others?
Wait for the line to die down.
all right.
All right.
Any other business?
Nope. Thank you very much.
Okay, then it's 5 to 8. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please, Sarosh.
Commissioner Castillo,
Aye.
Commissioner Marks,
Aye.
Commissioner Morrison,
Aye.
Chairman Strappman.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Happy
Yes,
New
Merry
Year.
Christmas, happy holidays. Yes, thank you. No, you're welcome.